Playoffs are upon us, everyone, and it's a very exciting time. I'm Charlotte, joined by Maddante. Of course, we're so ready. We're so ready, aren't we ready, Maddante? Are you ready?
I'm ready. I am warm. I've got the boys all behind me. There they
squad.
are, all suited, ready to go. I'm so warm though, I must say. It's still like 20 degrees up here, up in the northern end of Scotland, and yeah, I am not built for this. But you know what? We've been talking a lot about cooking. We've been talking about what dinner we're gonna have just before the game start, and of course then we have to talk about what these teams are cooking. And Charlotte, if you'd like to give the beautiful people at home the rundown of who we're actually watching. I
don't remember. This is the thing. Okay, so.
That's twice I've done that, where I've been like, do you want to? And they're like, no. Why did you do that?
Well, because the thing is, we flipped a coin before the show to decide which match we wanted to watch. If my memory serves, we are watching Goats Puffins.
We are absolutely.
Okay,
yeah, damn right. That
crisis,
you know what?
Crisis averted. It's all good. Yeah.
It was all
Goats
scripted.
Puffins.
It was all scripted. It was all
Goats
scripted.
Puffins is our game, and it's an interesting one because we didn't get to see goats throughout the group stage. So they are very much an unknown entity to us, but based on the results, they're looking good. They're looking good. A 13-4 against the Pit Ponies, I'm looking here. A 13-5 against Red Kites, a 13-2 against SEA Dragons. So very much a very, very dominant team. Kind of mirroring the Wolfhounds from the other group, right? A team that just kind of blew everyone out of the water. But, you know, lost slightly more rounds than the Wolfhounds, so we think, you know, maybe this will be a closer game. Against the Puffins, though, who did get 13-1 by the Wolfhounds in their group, but a forfeit win against the Artists and a 13-8 against Rejects means that they find themselves in the playoffs here, but second place in their group, which means they have the misfortune of playing against Goats, which seems very, very scary because, you know, this is the team, you know, there's a partnership with Lost Puppies, for crying out loud. This is going to be a scary one for them.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much else to be said. There's one more thing. I think we did it yesterday, or not yesterday, sorry, last week. But big shout out to Lendoff, anyone that has been kind of following the well. Of course, that name will need no introduction. He's been giving a lot of support and love to Lost Puppies, and of course, getting that coalition here. Of course, we can't be biased, but I'm sure if someone checks the Twitch chat, there will be some spirited supporting, let's say. That's professionally speaking. Unprofessionally speaking, there's going to be some toxicity in that chat, but it will be polite.
No.
That is the one rule. I don't think there will be toxicity. I believe it will all be polite and lovely. But
toxicity in esports, that would never happen.
That's unheard of. And yeah, the only real thing we've got to run through, we are just talking about the map bans and such that are coming through, but the map bans, of course, are important because this is our first best of 3 for the set. We have left the best of 1s, and we are now much further on to the endurance side of it, the being able to go back and forth, that tug of war, and not having to just give up on the first map after 8 rounds don't go your way.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a bit of a longer one. Perhaps we go to a decider, but this is where we really start to see teams be tested because, you know, a lot of the time maybe there's sort of an upset map here or there in terms of a series, but when you're playing best of 1s, you know, that's the only chance you've got. It feels like when we get into best of 3s, we're a lot more settled. We're going to really get to see which one of these teams is better, not just over one map, but over an entire set. So this should be a bit more of a benchmark, a bit more of a tester for both of these squads. And we now have the veto in with us. So Lotus and Corrode banned away. That's quite sad. I was kind of hoping we'd see a Corrode, to be honest. And Sunset and Bind also gone. So Haven, Ascent, Icebox is the pool. Is there anything that you are perhaps a little bit surprised by, a little bit not surprised by? I mean, Haven and Ascent are some fairly standard maps, I think you'd say.
Honestly, I don't know if maybe it's just because this map pool has changed a lot of teams' kind of priorities, but I still am a fervent non-believer of Icebox. I still believe going to Icebox is usually a mistake. I still think it is. I really do. Like, foregoing Lotus over letting Icebox be that, like, that's a big deal. There is the argument that both teams are not prepared, because for anyone that, you know, Ascent or Haven, especially in best of one scenarios, that's basically all you see in this sort of map pool. Bind can occasionally sneak in there, but let's face it, you're going to be wanting that more kind of gentlemanly style map. With the 3 maps that we do have to go to, this seems to me that no one is planning to go to Icebox. This seems to me like both teams have kind of said, we are going 2-0. If in any way it doesn't go that way, let's have fun. It's Icebox. Yeah. Let's see how this goes.
Oh, for sure. I think Icebox, you know, it's leaving the pool fairly soon, and then Abyss is coming in, so there's a lot of changes there, and you know, we can maybe talk about Abyss potentially. I mean, that throws a completely different spanner into the works. Some people would say that you're just replacing a bad map with a bad map. Not you, Maddante. I have to say, I'm inclined to agree. I am inclined to agree.
Thank you, Queen. A woman, a huzzah! A woman with taste is exactly huzzah. A woman with quality. This is what Abyss doesn't get, in my opinion, it doesn't get enough love, because it was the perfect in between for like Breeze. I guess Sunset would be yes, okay, I don't like Breeze. I want to point that out right now. I'm not defending Breeze at all. Oh my god, like, I don't want to. I'm already here trying to defend Abyss. Defending Breeze in the same sentences.
Don't bite off more than you can chew.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. Nor anyone is equipped to defend Breeze and Abyss in the same sentence. But what I mean by that is the mid site was a bit more open, the same way you would see in Ascent or Sunset. It was very much down to that mid fight. You could either decide fully commit to the mid, then go for the pivot, or just absolutely collapse onto either site. And both sites were big enough that it was feasible to do it on both sides. Icebox, for anyone that's seen, going on the B site's terrifying. Attacking B is horrifying. It hasn't gotten any easier. If you don't use the utility to clear yellow, if you don't use the utility to clear the character themselves, then you're kind of screwed. But that is for the future if we get into it. We are now in Haven.
Yeah, just a personal note on Icebox quickly before we leave. It's a misery to solo queue on that map. I'm trying to get out of bronze. It's not going well. I keep getting Icebox. I keep trying to solo queue on the Sentinel, getting like 30 kills, still losing like 13-8. It's miserable. But like you said, let's talk about Haven, because I'm liking the comp here from Puffins, right? You've got the Neon, you combine that with the ISO, very standard, sort of that Fnatic setup, but you're exchanging the Yoru for the Neon. It's all working fairly nicely, fairly standard. For Goats, they're bringing along the Jet Phoenix combination. This is something that I would have expected to see back in, I don't know, 2021? But in the Big 25, we're getting a Jet Phoenix here on Haven. What are your thoughts about that, Dante?
Look, this is the thing where you say double duelist is a bit unheard of. As you've already covered, Charlotte, ISO Neon, far more reasonable to expect. You've got the double tap from the side of ISO. It's very difficult to kill, especially we've seen Rascal do a lot of work before on ISO. Kex U on the Neon is going to be super scary. We've seen how the pace can come through. I don't hate the defensive Phoenix, honestly, because the Flash is still one of the most proactive ones in the game. It's a bit easier to deal with an attack than it is with a Yoru. You don't have to worry about bouncing it off a wall and it maybe getting turned by accident. So it's actually all going to come down to Narky on this defensive side with the Phoenix, and I like the tuck on the bricks immediately.
Yeah, clearly showing the signs of wanting to play aggressive. Perhaps showing their hand a little bit there, but I mean, this is Goats. This is the team that we know are going to be up in your face. They're going to be playing aggressive, but the opening pick from Nagipu doesn't come in, taken down, and Zeta's there to trade on Lendoff. So Omen on Omen, doppelganger action there, but Puffins trade out a 4 versus 3.
That's exactly what you want to see. And speaking of the trades, what you are seeing is you're seeing an aggressive push here from Saga. Okay, a little bit of a pullback. And I was going to say, if you look towards that C site, you've got so much control here. Had that went a little bit differently, Saga might have lost his life and the spike towards that A side. Meanwhile, though, you look towards that C site, there's the wrong Cypher already on there.
Go, go, go.
Yeah, there is a bit of utility here coming through from C main, where the rest of these players will be pushing from a trapwire and a camera to boot. The spy cam will give away a lot of information, but they don't know about Chewy. Pushed up close, Saga's now planting, and this C site is going to have to be a retake here from Goats. That's the first kill from Kexu, or onto Kexu rather. Perhaps a little bit too aggressive, and that recon is massive, gives so much information away, but they've still got to push through this smoke.
You want to talk about a recon giving information? It pushes Chaza and Alfilad back. It buys a bit of time, but with the damage being done, and Zeta with the perfect swing, positioning is solid, aggression is solid. Chewy deciding to go on a little field trip and sending a postcard to his team on A site all the way from C site. Wish you were here, and they got the memo. Solid control for the first map of for the first round of Haven, and Goats are gonna need to note that down.
Yeah, they are. I mean, obviously, it's a pistol round. That's where you're much more likely to see sort of those heavier stats on sites. It's not necessarily the end of the world, but it's an attacking round win already for Puffins on a map that you'd say the defense is slightly more favored. That could be so valuable as we get towards, you know, our round 20s, round 21s, in those late stages. Every round one on the attack will count.
That butterfly effect is massive, and already Goat's very much living up to what you were just saying there, Charlotte. That stack, very standard issue, much more to be expected. Goats have always had this bit more of a preference towards the death ball side, as I refer to it, just that big clump up of bullets of guns. Even if it is only classics, if 3 people are all right-clicking you, turns out that's a lot of bullets coming away, that's a lot of damage, and it looks to be a full man stack from the Puffins. This time Chewy not on a field trip, he's with the rest of his team, the tripwire is there, the Sova drone to come through, and the execute looks to be on its way.
And he's been able to get the spot onto Lendoff in the smoke there as well. That's absolutely massive information. And Chewy gets the better of it, but Chaza is there with a double, and Nagipu as well with kills. It's now a 2 versus 2, but Chewy has been the hero, has been the savior. In the previous round and now this one. A triple kill already. And leaving Kubfu in a 1 versus 2. It might not be enough, but still, this could be winnable here from the defensive Cypher. Just a couple taps through the box. His position's been read. Surely Chewy wins this, but no! It's the Ghost instead to win it out. Now 1 versus 1! Kubfu! That's insane, and we're only in the second round here, Dante. This match is electric.
It is only the pistol round. It is only the first round after the pistol round. We already have a thrifty, a clutch, and a half. Both Cyphers are the ones showing up right now. Chewy in that first round, Kubfu in that round. All I have is a ghost and a dream, and the dream is a nightmare for the Puffins. You cannot get away with that. The timing, absolutely perfect. Or if you want to be a bit more cynical, having your util out when you're in a 2 versus 1, just having the guns out, the timing just did not work out for Saga. That is absolutely brutal, and now the economy swung all the way back, and you can see the aggressive angles. The Sova darts are not getting the information that they once did. Those scans are not being allowed, as all members now trying to get towards this sewer side, and only 2 players from the side of Goats to try and meet.
Oh, Chaz has got the spot there. Chewy's found out on his lurk as well. A little bit of an advanced position there from Rascal. It's punished here by Chaza, who finds a kill, dips away. Nagipu with a double as well. I mean, fairly quick, fairly standard. A flawless anti-eco there from Lost Puppies. Just making things look calm And, I mean, crucially, not giving away the eco like they just saw their opponents do in the previous.
Don't give them that opportunity. I like the flank from Narki. Very confident. Very much awareness there to say, okay, we're going to track them down and we're going to even get to see, yeah, the positioning here. Look at how fast you can see that the position has been taken while all of this is going on. It's excellent from Chazza, don't get me wrong, this shot especially, but that's Narki having the confidence, having the belief in his teammates to say that he's going to get the distraction. And we got that replay in just because we have had a little bit of a crash, so we'll be getting our players in just a moment. Hopefully won't be too long, but as you already said, Charlotte, an electrifying start.
Oh yeah, it is certainly proving to be exciting, and well, the all chat as well has certainly proven to be a bit of a show itself. 3 rounds in, we've got a little bit of a technical pause there. We do hope that you stick with us, but. You know, what can we glean from those first 3 rounds? Because, I mean, we're just about to come into the first proper buy round, you know, rifles v rifles, where we start to, you know, properly settle into the half. But, I mean, from those first 3, I think we can say Goats are going to be in your face and aggressive. Puffins need to get maximum value out of their flanks, like we saw on the pistol. Those are kind of my main 2 takeaways, Maddante. Have you spotted anything else?
I genuinely think those are the 2 biggest ones we can get right now. Chewy's positioning, it does have to be said. It's actually, to be honest, off the back of that, I want to say that's 2 players, one on each side, where you've got Narki understanding off the back of his teammates exactly how Sewer's going to look, like having that confidence just to run in and swing, believing that no one's going to be holding him because of all the utility that's being thrown at his teammate, because of the really clear comms from Chaz. And meanwhile, the initial pistol round, you've got Chewy working off of the confidence that he's being given by his team as well. So as you've basically built up, that's 2 moments of 2 excellent players, both on each side. Essentially, it's a bit rude to put it down as puppeteering, but very much kind of controlling the way that their team is operating and very much operating off of the back of that. You see the 4 stack on one side and then that last little information gathered. Whoever you want to say is the puppet master and the puppets. I'm sure I can let the teams argue about that, and I'm sure they will have their own very, very interesting opinions that I will most certainly get DM'd about. And I look forward to them, and please don't be too mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing, like, it only is the first 3 rounds, so we do have to sort of say, like I said again, we haven't seen a full rifle round yet, but oh, you're waiting for it. We got the entire audience on tenterhooks here. So there are certain things where, you know, we can't necessarily sort of predict how this half is going to go. But right now, the Goats are looking very strong. They're looking quite scary, especially when you consider that second round where, you know, they're on the thrifty. They have a player in the clutch and they still win it out. I mean, he only had a Ghost up against 2 guns there, and he's still able to win it. Now, partially, you know, we can put that down to Puffins maybe misplaying things a little bit. They gave him 1v1s. They didn't really play together in that situation. But then you also have to consider, I mean, Cupfu still hit some incredible shots there, and that's the sort of star power that you've got throughout this Lost Puppies Goats roster. I mean, this is a scary team.
There is no surprises right now at the moment, at least. It was still... Okay, there was no surprises. Yes, there was. That was filthy, and I don't think anyone could have predicted that, and those shots were absolutely clean. But we kind of knew coming into this that this was going to be 2 powerhouses. We knew that at the very least how the rest of this bracket, how the rest of these playoffs and into the finals and such would go, this is when it suddenly started getting close. This is when it suddenly started getting pretty back and forth. And the biggest thing I want to say now going on to it, and as you said, Charlotte, we're only kind of getting into the first proper gun round and proper backup off of that. there's a lot of ultimates that the Puffins have to play with, especially. We're getting back into it now, but you've got Kex on the overdrive to help with the Thrifty. You've got the kill contract from Rascal's ISO to kind of force a 1v1 here. There's a lot that the Puffins can work with, even if the initial kills don't go their way. And speaking of, Kubfu playing around the Cypher cage to perfection, picks up a second one off the back of the Omen smoke as well. All the positioning still gained, and Alfie Lad joining him in 3 and 2 for the both of them. A clinical shutdown of the Puffins attack.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is, again, I think Kubfu just really strutting his stuff there. And in that site anchor role, very, very nice setup there, like you said, with the cyber cages, you know, using the spy cam as well to get the information. You stalled it out with the trips, and then combine that with Lendoff smokes, and you've got Alfie Lad and Chazza there to kind of back him up. It's a very, very nice C hold, and it gets Ghost their first gun round proper. That's ridiculous! I was waiting for Narkipu to get the kill. It took a bit longer than you'd want, but still able to get the triple there on mid. A ridiculous start from this round, and he's pushing for the ace here. That's a quad. The kill onto KXU. It's just Rascal standing in the way, and the Stinger is good enough to deny the Penta. It's not much more than that.
Fittingly enough, Narkipu, what looked to be a cook to perfection, is slightly burnt by the Stinger from Rascal, but at the very least, that is still an absolutely incredible setup, and that's the difference between Phoenix and Yoru. I'm glad we got to see something like that lineup.
I thought he was about to whiff it then. I was so worried.
I seen the vision where it just unfortunately didn't work out, but that sort of proactivity, you can't do that from Yoru because the flash has to bounce. There is that additional little second. Those very proactive setups, those very proactive flashes, that's what you want to see from a Phoenix, and they are difficult to make work, which is why you don't see him typically, but Narky showing that he can absolutely make it work. Puffin's not deterred. They're already basically back on the seaside.
Yeah, they have gone very, very quickly. Alfie Lad's here with an operator. Not the best to try and retake with, and yeah, he's been taken down. Lendoff as well. Kubfu tagged up by the Hunter's Fury, and now the Neural Theft as well. His position is known about, and Rascal, with the double tap, is able to take him down. It's a lovely curveball, though, from Narkipu. Yet again, making this Phoenix work. And now there's the run it back. The flash is just a little bit ill-advised as he's swung upon before it can really bloom, and he's going for it again, somehow still trying to make it work. But he falls, and Chaz is simultaneously going down. Puffins find a second round on the board.
Yo, Narky's got some fancy work with those flashbangs, if nothing else. Those curveballs are living up to their name. That's what you want to see. Phoenix, you have an additional player. You have an additional setup, an additional push in. I love Narky just going, I've got that frag, I'm in cubby. I know there's not any utility to kind of flush me out. I'm going to just pop my ult and run in. Unfortunately for him, both times, Chewy and Zeta very much locked in. They weren't letting him get those proactive flashes like he did out of Garage. Still a bit of work done, and ultimately, though, falling for them. And KXU deciding yet again, no concern, and to meet in Sewer with a judge. Narky's show the eye, and he will fall.
It wasn't even the judge to get the kill. It's Rascal with a Vandal there instead. Shock darts coming through, relay bolts, and the site is here for Puffins. They got it under their control and command, but the shock dart to take away the double tap shield is so nice. It now forces Rascal to either try and push up, get a kill, or just fall back, because now that safety net has been taken away. 5 versus 3 though. Puffins still with a hefty advantage here, Maddante.
Yeah, they have, and Zeta being pushed out, doesn't actually, just happy to stick his ground, happy to force it, knows that he's got the backup of KXU. Phenomenal. I was expecting at least maybe a fake TP or something to gather that. Of course, he didn't have the teleport online, but something to kind of fake out. Instead, no, happy just to pitch his tent, let his teammate get all the frags, take that crossfire, and again, the faith, the composition here, phenomenal, and it's falling a little bit to the wayside for Goats, and it has to, honestly, going back to it, Chewy and Kubfu both lurk towards that mid, and it is Kubfu that walks away with the frag, gets the initial setup, gets the Neural Theft all online, but Puffins had mentioned about this, Hunter's Fury, Overdrive, and the From the Shadows, so they want to get particularly cheeky. There's a lot for them to work with to equalize.
Yeah, there absolutely is.
Got
For
so
the Goats,
quiet
though,
all of a sudden.
yeah, they are just slowing things down here, Puffins. And, I mean, Goats, you can tell they are absolutely scrambled right now. But Alfie Lad, he's found a quad! Sneaking up from behind, and that's a complete blunder there from Puffins. Just one ultimate. The Blade Storm has completely decimated this team, and, well, Zeta, he's got one kind of spot. I mean, Narkipu a couple rounds ago was looking to get the ace and was denied. This time it's Alfie Lad who's on for the Penta.
I'm sure Chazza just gets the frag here. If he does, like, he doesn't give this away. No, okay. He took a second to shoot, and I wasn't sure if Chazza was absolutely happy to give up the kill or not, and actually give away a kill for the sake of Alfie Lad's ace. But I still like to see it. Keep your fundamentals. Don't get cocky. That is how you lose rounds. And flank Bladestorm, the pantomime situation, he's right behind me, isn't he? Yes, he is, Puffins, and he's carved up 4 of you to get that round in spades. 4 ultimates online for the Puffins. I want to see them pop something here.
Yeah, I mean, especially the kill contract right from Rascal. I mean, that can be so helpful just to sort of open up a site, really get yourselves an execute, particularly here on C where it's a little bit weaker, just the 2 players over here. But in fact, you can sort of tell that Goats are aware of this sort of play because they're falling so far back. But as I said that, Alfie Lad was pushing forwards into Garage. Saga, at least from the site, is able to deal with him. Zeta as well, but still a 4 versus 3 as the kills come through elsewhere on the map. And Narkipu, he's behind them again!
He's behind you. I mean, you've got a Cypher, but you can see just the information. You can see as soon as Chewy falls, as soon as that Cypher tripwire is not there to worry about, Narky has already joined the field trip. This is going to be a specific reference. Have you seen that GIF or that 10 to 20 second video where it's like the penguins, like the 2 groups of penguins passing by each other, and one of them gets confused and joins the other group?
Yes.
Yeah,
I have.
That's what Narky and Alfie have both done, and the Puffins have had no clue that a rival penguin has joined their squad.
Yeah, that's I don't know, perhaps a pretty niche one there from you. Then.
Oh, it's super niche. But if anyone doesn't, go watch it.
At least I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I mean, we've still got 30. We've got like 35 seconds left this time. Now, there's plenty of time to find the clip, come back to us. 6-3 though, we've started to worry a little bit for the Goats, I think, you know, where Puffins, had a couple rounds they strung together there, and it's like, oh, maybe they can get back into this, but since then it's kind of been one-way traffic, and Goats have looked back in quite a bit of control. So Katili, the Puffins coach, has had to put a stop to things here to just have a chat about what's going wrong, and particularly, we talked about it before, flanking is going to be a big part of this game, and Puffins, and the Goats are going to get aggressive. We've just seen the past 2 rounds have been the epitome of that.
You can't really get much more of an aggressive defense. As we said, it always comes down to Narky, or at least someone is always there in the back line. Narky, Alfie, there's always someone that's ready just to test the limits of what a Cypher trip can do. And you can already look at the difference in the splits here. There's now 2 players lurking towards that A site. One of them's your Yoru, or not your Yoru, sorry, your ISO, which you would typically want to be at the very, very front lines. It now has to fall solely onto Kexu to try and get this position, to try and get this aggression. Goes through Garage yet again, which Alfie Lad was able to shut down. But I do like that the Puffins, they're not a one and done. They're not trying one strat and then the Goats have managed to, you know, catch them out, and then they're going, oh, well, that didn't work, so we're going to just completely avoid it. They're happy to run it back. They understand that it can just be a bit of an awkward timing in some situations. So I do like this, and it does look to be another pivot at the end towards this C site.
Yeah, Kexu's just inserted himself in Garage, playing back, making sure that he's not available to be spotted from any of these angles. So Recon Bolts come on in. It's Alfie Lad to find the first kill. That's Rascal falling, but Kexu in Garage That's the insertion that we were talking about, trading things out on the site, and in fact getting the advantage here for the Puffins. Chewy with the Vandal finding that kill. Chaza now in through CT is pushing forwards, trying to find the kills! And find them, he does!
Oh my god, give me... Oh, give me all of that is Chaz's response. Oh, the overdrive getting sent to the Shadow Realm as fast as it starts. Very much Neon kicks you saying, hey, I'm pissed, and Chaza goes, get into the after death lobby and cool off. Go into the next round. We are not dealing with your shenanigans at all. And that's what, 3 times now in the back of Alfie, Narky, and Chaza that 3 people have died in the space of a second. I don't think like this.
Yeah.
Let's see if a second even passes. No.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
absurd.
pissed. Well, then go in the toilet. That's pretty much what happened there.
It's as far as
It's quick
gonna
on
go.
A. It's quick on A again from Puffins. And like you said, they're switching things up here. They should have a sort of a buy this time around, but I mean, Rascal's just been spammed through the smoke. Chaza is just delivering miracles again.
I mean, that's curses, miracles, whichever side you are on, and Alfie is very much the miracle worker, just cutting down everyone towards. So there's the aggressive flashbang. Narky cannot be stopped. The backup,
Oh my god.
the position from Alfie, just dancing around the show, and Goats have been very giddy. I must say, the movement has been clean. They are so happy to run and jump about and play distractions for each other. And honestly, despite the fact my man is currently going 1-6, Lendoth's smokes have been very, very pivotal and very representative of the Goats playstyle.
Yeah, they absolutely have. We've been talking about his utility, and it's enabled the aggression from the other Goats players. That's why you've got Alfie on 14 kills, Narky on 13 kills, Chaza on 12 kills. I mean, Lendoth hasn't had really to do anything, although that potentially got a little bit dangerous there. Narky Poop, he's suddenly getting pushed upon by so many players, and the undercut to suppress him, take away that utility and deal the vulnerable as well is certainly quite dangerous, but he's found the opening kill, and Chaz has got the spam from heaven again. It's ridiculous what Goats are getting away with.
Oh, I mean, I don't know what Chaz's real name is, but that is giving me Angel Gabriel vibes. That man is smiting from heaven as if there is no concern. That is the Archangel just throwing his wrath down towards that A-long, and nothing is being able to withstand it. And I want to say, we kind of just glossed over the fact that was the last round of the half. It is 9-3. That was the round where the setup from Goats on defense, the Puffins could have been so aggressive, fully just exploded onto the site, and it would have worked out for them. It was the one time they decided to slow the presence down slightly, and it was enough for Goats to walk into the site and go, what's going on over here then?
Yeah. It didn't work out well for the Puffins, but hey.
Not.
Yeah, again, understatement central here. But now they're on the defense. This is where perhaps, you know, we expect them to do a little bit better. And the entrance here into A lobby from Goats has certainly been punished so far with utility. A little bit of chip damage being done, and in fact, the Sova chucked down incredibly low. Alfie Lad, though, is trying to find this kill. Saga and Kex double facing nearly worked out for the attacker, and Narky-Poo is in here. Narky-Poo, he's got no idea where these players are. Ring around the rosy, and Lendoth with a double. We talked about how he's not been finding the kills, but when it's required of him, he's stepping up to the mark, stepping up to the moment. 60 seconds still left of this round, and they're not checking for Narky-Poo. A round that looked so winnable for the Puffins at first, but, well, the Goats, they started going, and they just do not stop.
They are very much living up to their name, and look, positioning here, play style, executes off the back of each other. Lendoth getting 2 kills with a classic at that angle should not, it is pistol of course, but that is insane. And then the biggest thing that some people in the audience may not have noticed, Chaza was over in Seaside planting the bomb during that entire thing. So even if Narky falls...
I didn't notice that either, to be honest.
Did you not know? No, the spike's being planted at C. So even if Narky dies there's a good 5 to 8 seconds that were already being ticked down due to that positioning, due to that placement. And that's what you want. That's presence. That's understanding that you don't need the frags. You can just kill time. But Narky's happy to do both.
Yeah, Puffins are forced up here as well. They do not want that 11-3 scoreline. Fnatic came back from it, sure. But Puffins aren't Fnatic. Newsflash for everyone at home. That Puffins aren't Fnatic. Slightly different team. Just, you know, the different coach and completely different roster. But, you know, apart from that, they're basically there. Either way, they do not want to lose this round, because if they do, well, now it's even worse for them, because they forced up, and it's messy at first, but Alfie's still able to take down Rascal. The entry into the site, Zeta's going to get caught here as well by Narky-Poo, who's continuing to push forwards, and a quick double in return. Puffin still at the disadvantage, but it is only a 3 versus 2. A 1-player deficit. They could easily come back from this, but Kexu falling, it now looks a lot more difficult. Chewy in the clutch.
We've seen it once. We've seen it twice, actually, both Cyphers. This is the point. What the scariest thing, I respect Chewy actually leaving. He sees that Chaza is alive and goes, I see what that man does through smokes. I'm not going to try and risk sitting in that smoke. Chaza has been completely... Yeah.
That's rough.
It's rough. I don't disagree, especially just there are, you know, for the most part, 2 players on full HP. One is only slightly damaged. You've got that gun. You may as well save up with the rest. And Landoff, I have no clue if that was intentional or not. I have no clue. Trolling.
Yeah. We love you, Landoff. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah, timeout. I mean, absolutely. You've just lost that round. Yeah, Chewy's able to save a Phantom into the next, but it's a pretty rough buy, and things only get rougher from here on out. I mean, Kexu's got a Judge. Zeta is probably going to have to buy something like a Spectre or a Stinger. You got a couple Bulldogs. You're up against a full complement, really, from Lost Puppies. And again, these are just all of these now are rounds that Puffins can't afford to lose.
No, this is do or die. This round is... let's just put it into perspective. Puffins don't get this. They go to 3-12. They have to win 9 rounds back-to-back consecutively, with having to commit ultimates as they get them to make sure they still get used, and then survive that attrition that GOATs very clearly are comfortable to put them on. They have to deal with Narky, who refuses to stop holding W, who currently is an additional 6th player for the side of GOATs with the run it back online. The Puffins don't have anything to stop this, really. They don't have... Yeah, they don't have anything to really shut this down. The best they've got is 1 relay bolt stun from the side of Kexu. Other than that, you're going to keep seeing this man in your spawn. And Narky with the knife out, the Cloudburst already down. Yeah, he is pushing it down, no hesitation. Kex, though, meeting the aggression with a Judge, and Narky having to run back to save his team. The run it back is still there. And thankfully, because the shotgun, that nerfed magazine size, it's enough to allow the frag to go his way.
Yeah, 4 versus 3 now as well. The Phoenix back up to full HP, so all the damage done by Kexu, Null and Void. And again, they're just going in. They're rushing into the site. Rascal's been dealt with. Narky-Poo, curveball! That shot's insane onto Zeta. And Chewy left on an island. Again, Narky-Poo's going hunting for this. He doesn't quite know the position, but I do not blame him, and Chaza is coming to back him up just in case Chewy's coming from the defense side spawn, which of course we know he is. There's the reveal, and there's the kill. Clean headshot through the wall. And like you said, 9 in a row now needed for the Puffins. It's a mighty long road. 21 and 7.
I mean... It's not even the best kill. It's not even the best kill death ratio on his team. Chaz is taking that with the 4.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, Chaz is taking that with a 3.75, nearly a 4 KD. So you look at 21 and 7 and go, damn. You look at 15 and 4 from your Sova and go, damn. You look at 4, 7 and 14 from Lendoff on the Omen. You go, damn, and Puffins, they don't want to give any time to the Goats. They want to meet them fast, but look at the setups. They're already on B.
Yeah, this site is completely empty. The first map seems like it might be falling fairly shortly here, but Kexu has got a judge again and is very quickly dealt with the raid boss. That's Nakipu falling, but Chaz somehow is good with that reaction, and a second trade onto Rascal as well. That's the duelist from Puffins dealt with, and Alfilad, he's still alive, he's still firing, and he's sending the Goats with a 1-0 advantage.
I mean, that is nothing short of clinical. That is nothing short of mechanics are there, team play is there, coordination is there, utility playoff is there, map presence is there, ult economy is there. Anything you can say, any small fundamental of Valorant you ask about, it was there.
Yeah, and I mean, you consider that it's a 13-3 and they lost the first pistol round.
I didn't even consider that. I didn't even consider that.
To be fair, they then won the anti-eco, but if anything, that's actually just a worse reflection on Puffins. I mean, we need to see a step up for map 2, and I'm just going to quickly confirm things, but it seems like I'm not actually sure which team picked Haven. I think it might have actually been Goats. So for a second I was about to be very worried that that Puffins picked Haven, but they didn't. It was Goats.
Yeah,
let's all remain calm.
Yeah,
but everyone 13-3 on Haven. I mean, I'm trying to shoot Puffins and bail him, Maddante. I'm trying to shoot him some bail with, you know, it wasn't their map pick. Ascent could maybe be where they win, perhaps.
What I want to really talk about is it looks like we're going straight into second, ladies and gentlemen. There are no breaks, and if anything from that playstyle, particularly from the Goats, it shows there are no breaks on this crazy train. We are more than happy just to jump right into it if the teams are, so I don't even think we'll be saying goodbye. It does give us a bit more time. I want to talk about the scoreboard in a little bit more detail because Charlotte, would you like to hazard a guess, based on just how that went, how that looked, do you want to hazard a guess how many First Bloods the Puffins got, if you haven't already just done the math? Because guarantee you you're wrong. Like, it's... I'm
gonna say... I don't know, actually. I think it's gonna be quite low, 3 or 4?
It's 7.
7?
They got 7 First Bloods, so...
7 of 16 is... Yeah, that's nearly half, and you get demolished.
Yeah, I'm glad, because I was going to back up that point. I'm glad you're following me. I'm glad you're on that same train of thought of, getting like half of your, like one less than half of the total rounds, and you're getting the First Blood, and still it's a 13-3. That's rough. That is indicative of overheating, just not playing the refrags as well. That
and also getting flanked on.
And just getting absolutely flanked on because your Cypher tripwires apparently don't work, or they're malfunctioning, or just maybe Chewy, the bank account wasn't quite there, and he couldn't afford the tripwires. There's a lot to be discussed there, but honestly, Ascent isn't as flank heavy. So hopefully, if we see a similar setup, which I imagine we could maybe be seeing pretty similar compositions, that shouldn't be as possible for the Goats just to kind of demand that presence and keep it going, but that is something we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I don't know, I mean, Phoenix on Ascent, it could be very, very interesting, you know. As... Again, the compositions that we might see are... I mean, you know, do we see the Chamber come out? You know, Fnatic composition, perhaps, what we've been seeing in Toronto and EMEA. Do we get? I mean, yeah, I think it's great. Especially as a Fnatic fan, I'm loving it. But you know, we could see something. I think is it RRQ or someone like that in Pacific? They're playing it with a Taeho and still somehow making the Taeho look good on that map. You know, there's so many different possibilities, and you know, you can get Deadlocks in there. Vice maybe not so much, but Deadlock seems to be quite a strong pick on this map as well. There's so much room for innovation, and based on Haven, I think we might see some innovation.
I think so too, and I like the point what you brought up, because Deadlock started to see quite a bit of love, which is good. It's really nice to see her get a bit more support on these few maps. Vise is something that arguably is very playable, but it relies so much on team cohesion, and you do have to put quite a bit of brain cells into just communicating and coordinating those flashes. Look, they're fighting. Look, there's two of them, and they're fighting for third place up here. Give me a bit of credit, but that's very much down to coordinating those flashes. You want to be... The arc rose is very obvious. It's very obvious when you put it on the wall, and the flash is pretty obvious. But what you want to force is they shoot the arc rose, and while they're shooting the arc rose, they get flashed by the Yori or the Phoenix. If they turn the Yori or Phoenix, they turn back and get flashed by the arc rose. That's what you like to see. That's the setup that makes Vise kind of work. But we get to see it here, I believe. Charlotte, if you are still with us, if not, I cannot wait for your reaction whenever you are back. Just getting themselves a little bit of a glass of water, but they are. Okay, no, I thought Alfie Lad was actually going to go with the chamber. Sadly not. Well, she can review the VOD and be really disappointed whenever it gets picked off of. So, pretty standard composition. No KO from the side of Goats. KO, for anyone that's used to seeing Ascent a million times, despite all the changes there's been, despite Teho was the only character kind of strong enough to come back and fully edit, or I guess change and impact the way the agent select worked on Ascent. But for anyone that's used to seeing it, it's Sova, it's KO, it's Omen, it's Jet, and it's either Cypher or Killjoy. Saga going with the Clove I really like, but you kind of need the double controller. Omen has just been so powerful that despite the fact he doesn't really have an ultimate, the From the Shadows, the teleport, is very rarely used, and his ability to just completely pop in and go, yeah, I'm that solid, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for gaining information, right? And that can be very, very strong. But at the same time as well, you know, we've certainly seen quite a few clutches with that sort of thing as well, where you're like, oh, everyone's here? Yeah, I'm just going to everyone's guarding a spike. Yeah, let me just grab that. I'm on the other site. I plant, I win. Or, you know, oh, there's currently 3 people on me. The other site is free. Let me just pop over there real quick, plant the spike. I win. But like you say, it's very, very conditional. It does sort of seem like we're seeing a bit of if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah,
Maddante with this Phoenix going on from KXU. But I'm excited.
It's weird going because this head-to-head now is all about going to be if they run into each other, which to be honest they didn't really get too much of a head-to-head. It was usually being shot in the back, I believe, by Narky Poo, that it was happening to the Puffins and particularly KXU. But this is exactly the two that you're going to want to see go against each other. You're going to have to see who can kind of outflash each other, who can play off of it, and this is where the curveball becomes a bit less good, because you have to kind of swing off of it yourself. It's not as easy to work with. It's not as flexible as Yoru's flash, but that might not be relevant if you're just fighting on mid and trading openly. Okay, the Puffins are out for blood.
Yeah, but I mean, so are Goats. They're already here on the A site. Completely free for them. Plant comes in on the generator, and now it forces that retake to come in from Puffins. The 45-second timer begins.
Look at the lurk. Look at the delay. Look at the 2 in spawn still. Look at this.
It's just flanks upon flanks upon flanks, but they have missed each other's paths. So instead, Alfie Lad on the side. That's one hell of a shot from Saga. Who, it's only good for the one. KXU, hang on a minute. 90-degree flick, Cupfu inside of main. Oh, surely he doesn't clutch up again. Surely he doesn't do it again. Inside the smoke. Oh, it's so low from KXU. Got the spike down to half. Below HP, just one shot will do it. And it's another 1 versus 2 in a pivotal round there for Cupfu.
Look, There are 2 letters in Cubfu's name right now that are currently being highlighted, and that is certainly all love, but F you to anyone that tries to take his site, that anyone that tries to prevent him. Look at you look.
I was wondering where you were going with that then, Maddante. I was like, what letters could you be talking about? I understand. I see the vision.
Look, normally I would say nothing, but that is twice that it has been unwinnable, that it has been all the utility has worked against him, all the positions, and still he just pulls victory from the jaws of defeat. A phenomenally scary player. I know we've talked about raid bosses, but to have to still deal with him after all of that is terrifying. The Cypher trips are being managed pretty solidly, but the setup is there. He still survives. Gets the switch, and with very little damage actually done.
What on earth just happened? Okay, it seems like we're returning to a bit of normalcy now with the rifles winning out against pistols. 4 versus 2, site now secured. Everybody breathe. Everybody be calm.
One enemy remaining.
Ow.
Yeah. I mean, can Rascal win it out? The answer is no. That's a lovely combination there with the blind side over the top, gate crash in as Cubfy swings. I mean, again, Goats, they've been cooking, and they are chefing up a storm right now.
There is a 5-star gourmet meal, and it is absolutely the... Okay, this is a bit more of a relatable one, not the Penguins one. This is the cartoon character smelling the pie and being lifted off their feet. The problem is Puffin's being landed slowly into an early grave, it looks like. They are so confident. The Goats... That Yoru gate crash play... with the double swing is enough to show me confidence on Yoru and Phoenix, which is very scary if Nargi can do it.
Oh!
Kung Fu is on lock right now, is a different being.
Yeah, Cubfu's insane. I've had the pleasure of casting Cubfu before in you know other tournaments, you know, where they're playing in tier 3 across Europe, and you know they were playing the duelist at that point in time and just looking incredible while doing it. And that's sort of a bit of that side coming back, you'd think. All I remember is Cubfu hitting nutty op shots, and now that one with the Outlaw, we're so back.
Were we ever really gone? Is my question.
Well,
right now it doesn't look like it. Speaking of though, what's really gone is Saga's actually just decided to live in the smokes. The 180, living in the smokes, no concern at all. Lendl fires out one, but Saga wants this on their own. They know where Cubfu is. The Outlaw is not going to land. Surely not again. Surely not again. Thank you, Chewy. If that had been the end, if that had went the way of Cubfu, I would have just said in the most polite way that this map had already ended.
Goodness gracious. Well, it's a 2-1 start. I mean, I got nervous then, and you start to think a 3-0 start, you're attacking on Ascent. At that point, you just kind of call it, right? I mean... It's pretty rough, and remember, this is the Puffins map pick. There's still just those first 3 rounds. They win the bonus. Everything's fine. This is the first gun route, Maddante.
Oh,
and it's not a great start.
I was going to say they can make this work, but Narki's been playing off of both the curveball and the blind sides flawlessly. He doesn't even really need to set up his team. He's happy to do it himself, and now we get to see why Yoru has really surged up in popularity. Chazza, though, in the meanwhile, is trying to get that A site for free. Very much trying to go for the more... for the standard kind of split that we've seen towards the A site on Haven, but it does get shut down. Zeta able to add another frag. The timing, Alfie just dancing around. Oh, but he's fired a shot. He's made himself known. He falls anyway, though. Zeta just can't quite handle it.
Yeah, I was going to say, Alfie had kind of shown his hand a little bit there, but still is good for it. Narky Poo, perhaps forced away from this by the one-way, and now that's an audio cue given away to Chewy, but Alfie Lad is there again. The double swings from this Goat's side. They're playing together like an absolute team and a unit. Cubfu, though, dealt with by the Run It Back and Saga combining together. A slight whiff there as well into a 2 versus 2.
Oh, but the timing. Saga had a feeling, but not
flanking again.
Not again. Oh, and unfortunately, they're not dead yet. I didn't actually realize that the frag had came through, but unfortunately, yeah, Nargi, yet again, that confidence we've seen from the Phoenix on Haven is more than happy to transfer over onto Ascent.
Yeah, for sure. And again, he's just always flanking. He's gone to the comm school of always flanking. And yeah, he's graduated with a first class and honors. Like, it's ridiculous what he's been able to get up to. on Haven, on this map so far as well, where he just kind of keeps on clutching, keeps on winning these rounds. Oh, he's finally been shut down. It's a nice op shot there from Rascal. The Blade Storm in his face. Alfie, it's jet on Jack competition. Trapwire delays him for now.
The crossfire's good. The cloud burst to give a bit of space, but surely, Alfie, I really love it. He's still trying to fight that Rascal nose and even jumps up onto the barrel just to offset the headshot, which is enough to save his life. For anyone that didn't get to see the economy, Rascal got no shields. Rascal's got nothing. It's that op and a dream. Nothing else to work with. So the backup from the crossfire from Zeta is absolutely massive to keep him safe, to keep him secure. As the split towards tree, towards A main does come through, and the curveball, speaking of come through, he flashes himself! He flashes himself! Oh no!
Oh no, how many times are we going to see situations like that, Maddante? Now he's just powering forwards. He doesn't quite get the catch onto Rascal, but Lendoth dealing with Saga on the site means it's still a 2 versus 2. And again, as soon as that spike goes down, the advantage goes into the hands of the Goats. They're attacking here on Ascent and making it look easy so far. The smoke is going to be dealt with fairly easily by the attack.
I love that kind of that preemptive cloud burst there. It's super cheeky. It's super...
Yeah. And the dash as well. They think, oh, he's going up there. Oh, no. But he dies anyway.
Psych! And then, yeah, he dies. Yeah. Psych, you thought. And then, unfortunately...
Psych, I thought.
Yeah, psych, I thought. Yeah, exactly. It's... Yeah, you can just see how prepared Lendoth and everyone are. You can see how comfortable they are. Chazza has been essentially fighting on his own towards that A side, towards like up that mid as well. Meanwhile, anytime he's done that on his own, the rest of the team are just more than happy to kind of vibe down towards this B side. And yet again, with no guns really to work out, Zeta swings and gets away with his life, luckily.
Yeah, no clue how he's alive in that situation, but wisely falling back because he was able to spot that there's 4 players here inside a B main. And you can see they are just preparing to pop through the smoke. There goes the Owl drone coming through. Teleport from Naki as well with the blind side.
Flank on flank. Look behind you. Look behind you.
God,
meanwhile,
not again.
They've been walking on the site.
Rascal though, oh, he's got the catch onto him. Again, there's just so many mind games going on right now. Meanwhile, the site is under pressure. Chewy with a Bucky with 1, but Lendoth again has that catch, has that trade, and Kubfu, he's watching for, what's this, the 5th flank of the round? Saga gets 1, but I mean, the overhill comes in, 45 HP. I thought maybe it's not doable, but gives away his position. And the Goats win it out again.
Yeah, Charlotte, you mind games upon mind games.
What's happening?
There's always
What's
one
going
person
on?
further behind you. How is there always one extra person behind you? This is...
It's like a conveyor belt.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, this is...
Or you know a magic trick where a magician's just like, oh, I've got here an empty hat. Just keeps pulling out more flanking players. It just keeps on going out the magic hat. Just, oh, here's another flanking player. Here's another one. Here's another one. It's just rabbits.
It's just puffins, actually. It's just goats.
That's true.
It's all animals that aren't just your normal furry critters that are in the magician's hat. But meanwhile, the goats have already just appeared on the A side.
How have they been able to get away with this? And Chazza up top as well. Targa's here in hell and somehow still alive. Chewy's found one with the Odin. Surely they don't expect him to be here by now. Finally, down with underneath, but Rascal's got a triple with the Blade Storm. It's a pantomime. It's a comedy right now from these teams. And Lendoth, he's got to clutch up a nice shot on the first, but Rascal a quad to get the second round for the Puffins. Goodness me.
From the front.
To be honest, yeah, we seen that shot from Lendoth. Damn Lendoth indeed. That was a beautiful shot.
He does got the dog in him.
There is no Sky involved, but he got that dog in him, absolutely. I want it, like, Saga underneath heaven, just sitting in hell that whole time, not getting cleared, and yet somehow Alfie Lad still lands the shot on him is absolutely ridiculous. That goes to show that even when you've got presence, even when you've got patience, there are sometimes people that are just faster, and yet again, I can't stop speaking, but the round's already started.
Well, that happened, and yeah, that's a nice flash there from Hang on a second. Hold on a minute. Okay, Saga, you're getting greedy for more. And just ults to get away from that position. Okay, it's a 3 versus 3 right now, Maddante. I'm so befuddled as to what is going on. And Saga's just trying to run it down. Alfilad doing the right thing and just hiding away in mid so they're not dead yet, can expire. And Goats have the advantage.
Meanwhile, though, both ciphers are still about to meet in mid. Like, I've never, complete transparency, I've never stared at the minimap so much while casting a set of Valorant.
For sure.
Because there is just as you said, mind games upon mind games. There is always someone that further back down. Chewy hasn't left tree yet. A certified gardener in this stage. He is happy to maintain all the flowers, all the bushes. Meanwhile, there is one man, a certified sailor, sitting in the back of Boathouse.
Yeah, and Zeta's going to be feeling the pressure right now. All these players, they just keep coming in. At least Chewy's providing a bit of distraction. The Odin ringing out from on high, but the swing from Zeta, ill-advised, and just like that, the Goats get the round. I was hoping for something a little bit more dramatic at the end of things there, especially considering the very start of that round. I mean, that A main fight was ridiculous. I've got no clue how Saga got a double.
Yeah, if we can, I almost am certain that will be like a personal clip that will be highlighted and put on top, because like that was a phenomenal
I need
shot.
it.
Like,
I need to see what happened.
I need to see what, like, we've seen Landoth's just there on the Chewy. Like, there have been moments of just absolute, like, I know we kind of mentioned that, okay, Puffins aren't Fnatic, who would have thought, but there's some tier 1 shooting happening right now from both teams, and Rascal's actually the one to build up on this time. Happy to take the angle. Saga manages to shut down Alfilad, no concerns at all. This aggressive defense.
What's going on?
Zeta wants to get one on Nargipu towards B. That's a push shut down.
And it's with, like,
nothing.
Half buy as well. Like, what? I truly cannot understand what's going on here as Rascal... Well, he spots Cubfu, he knows the spike gets dropped as well. And now his 5 players, they are convening here on this position. And indeed they do flawless. Chewy was taking that long-range gunfight with the Classic because he's got a judge on hand. Again, I think we are starting to devolve here, Maddante, into the realm of the silly. We've finally made it. The minibus has arrived. The plane has landed. We are here in Silly Land. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, the thing is,
I hope you enjoy your stay.
I'm having a fantastic time, and I hope everyone's enjoying their stay. But it doesn't feel silly. It just feels so explosive and disrespectful, and like the fastest paced. Normally, whenever like there's a couple of round differentials, you start to see things slow down. You start to see a bit of space respected. But you can see Kexu already looked like he wanted to get set up with a curveball. He does get pushed away with all the utility that does come through, but even still, he wants to take this fight.
Yeah, that would be an incredible fake clone, but it's not to be. Instead, he's going to now find the flash curveball around the side, but only catches onto the 2 of the 3 players pushing him in towards tree. And Garden Zeta here has his position, drops the spike in a second as well. Saga and Rascal getting in on the action. It's just Chaza, 1v3. He's found the first, now down to a 1-on-2. This one, I mean, I hesitate to call it too early, but Chaza could maybe get something done here. If only he didn't wander into the sight line. I got nervous, but Puffins are starting to fight back and build something here on their defensive side.
I think, just in case anyone maybe somehow hasn't picked up, suddenly your casters are getting nervous. This has went from what was honestly looking pretty just... After that first game, after such a dominant Haven, Goats just kind of looked to be walking away, but the Puffins have managed to sneak out very cheeky victories, very solidly placed shots, very excellent positioning. Their timing, their understanding of Goats has actually changed on a fundamental level over these last 2 or 3 rounds, and I honestly think it's very evident. Saga even doing something as greedy as that. Rascal trying to push up through mid, doesn't miss the shot, unfortunately, but still finds one. Chewy backs him up with the oil, finds a
Chewy!
What? Does it again? Do it one more time.
This game makes no sense. It makes absolutely 0 sense. And Nargipu's in tree. He's gotten to tree. I mean, the spike still surrendered down in tiles, but that's a lovely blindside just to try and get on through. The fake gate crash, and KXU does about deal with it. But again, the questions just keep on coming. What on earth is happening in this server? How did Nakipu got to tree? There's that ridiculous mid-fight. I mean, just ridiculous, Maddante. How do you even explain what's going on?
You don't without VAR. You don't without being able to like cut to that round and seeing the intricacies. We will never be able to explain. I could do another entire stream of me reviewing this VOD, and the cast would be entirely different. But the setups here, the plays, the aggression from the Puffins, Rascal having no fear. Look at the way the smokes are set up. Look at the way Rascal swings out, disrespects the flash and the utility, and Saga doing the exact same smoke he hit in last time, and this time it's getting a bit more value. He's not ready. He actually is. The overheal not quite enough, but Comfy surely doesn't walk away from the Hunter's Fury. It doesn't find him.
The run it back though from KXU, swiftly dealt with. Chewy though, trading there with the Odin. Kubfu slow on HP, just 13 points of health. The Hunter's Fury being ripped here by Lendoff from Boathouse backside. And that sets up Kubfu to find a kill. Now 2 versus 2, evening things up, and with the gun in your hand, any kill, any headshot could be the potential, but he's been dealt with. Lendoff, he's clutched up before, he's going to have to do it again. It's not going to be enough. KXU gets the kill, and Puffins, a miraculous run of 4 rounds in a row, like you said, gets them an even half at the split.
I can only make noises. I can only genuinely make noises. All of a sudden, yeah, the Puffins, they just had the pacing. They had the timing of the goats down. It's that simple. It doesn't sound that simple. It doesn't look that simple. It looked really shaky and scary and super fast-paced and very sort of, I don't want to say ugly, but just scrappy is maybe the word I'm looking for here. Yeah, scrappy, but it really wasn't, because the Puffins were not confused. They weren't taking the same fights. They weren't letting themselves get refragged. It's just us. We're just confused. They seem to know everything that's going on.
Yeah, here's a problem though. They still only got 6 rounds on the defense, which is still not great, especially on Ascent here. This pistol round is absolutely a must-win, because if they don't win it, they're in a very difficult position. Rascal's up close, so Kubfu deals with Saga and Chewy as well. He found a triple, but it's a triple from Rascal as well. Make it a quad. He's been shot in the back. And a 1 versus 2, just like that. He knows that the play is going to be coming from CT. Chaza, what can you do here? A clutch would send me absolutely bananas. But it's a crossfire that's been established, and he's just watching, waiting. And Rascal, he has the ace in the pistol round. And Puffins, for the first time, have a lead here on Ascent.
I mean, that is a... Look, if this map ever gets translated into a book, this will be a certified Puffin classic. I'm sorry, that was terrible. Please skip it. But I don't know what else to say. I really honestly don't.
Please leave. That was awful.
Like, in the time it took you, Charlotte, to say they really need to win this round, 3 people had died to Rascal's frenzy. That's the level of confidence of positioning, of setup, and it was unfortunate for Goats that it was a double lineup through the smoke, but if you're getting kills like that with frenzies, you clearly believe in your aggression, you clearly believe that your team is there to back you up, and they absolutely were, as you said, for the first time this entire set, and with how 13-3 Haven ended. Goats, you would not expect this to be going Puffin's way, but they've got the read. They understand how the Goats want to play.
Like you said, this is the first time they've had the lead since round 1 of Haven when they won the pistol.
Yep.
That's how long. That's how long it's been since they've had a map lead. KXU. Oh my gosh, he's been able to get away with one there, and the hip fire Marshall shot through the smoke. He's got the catch on Nakipu as well. He knows of that position. We'll have that on lock, and yep, indeed it does. Zeta, some tags through the smoke as the door closes. It's gonna have to be meleeing that one open from Lendoff. It's a thankless task, it's a thankless effort. He's been taken down by Rascal. Now a 1 versus 5. would be ridiculous, Saga. Boy, it's flawless. It's fine. We move on. No one saw it. No one saw that.
No one saw it. We don't have an observer for that round. The footage is already deleted. Oh, it got corrupted. It's a shame. It doesn't translate any. We can't. There were no proof that that spray happened again. And all of like this is just absurd that this is the difference. The Goats' very typical aggressive defense that Puffins were overwhelmed by on Haven. They seem so ready for it now. They're so patient. They're so happy to wait for them, and they look to be ready to take this fight. Okay.
Yeah, they haven't won it though. Ketsu falls immediately to Alfie Lad. But again, they're still aggressive, and oh my god, Rascal, that's perhaps a little bit too ballsy. Dashing straight down highway and straight into 2 players. A 4 versus 2. They're going to 1 versus 4 for Saga. I mean, again, this one would be ridiculous, but surely not. Gets one onto Chaza, and yeah, okay. Again, relax, be calm. Things are as they should be. Things are as they should be.
I'm holding my breath, sister. Anytime that there's like one person standing, I'm now scared for the enemy team. There is no way in a typical Valorant game that if the Goats have like a 4-man advantage, I'm scared for them. But that's exactly what this game has conditioned me to do. It's harrowing. It's terrifying. It's awesome to watch, I must say. It has been
I'm having a great time.
I'm having an excellent time. My voice isn't. My throat's dying, but I am having an excellent time. I hope you all are at home as well.
Yeah. Oh my word.
Look at the setup.
Chaza there. I mean, they just kind of know what's going to be happening there. That sort of setup, and Kubfu, Lendoff, they're finding the kills, but Rascal again is getting away with murder, literally here on the B site. Finally, Chaza puts a stop to it. And not before Chewy can get a second kill. Ketsu, he's in there, Spawn! What's going on?
He's behind you. They're ghosts. Everyone here is cosplaying as Omen right now. Kexu especially. Kubfu, Narki, Alfie, they've all been cosplaying as Omen. Constantly behind you, constantly making you paranoid. And with a 2 versus 1 setup now, the Cypher Cam to give a little bit more information. There's still a curveball wanting to get thrown out. Look, in theory, this should go the way of Puffins, but Goats. Chaza could do it.
He absolutely could. Chewy's on 29 HP, don't forget. This one's doable. There goes the smoke, but it's a double swing in the end. Puffins, they played that one smart. They played it safe. And maybe this is just a surprisingly attacker-sided descent, because, I mean, Puffins, they're off to a 3-1 start here, very much mirroring what we saw in the before the switch.
The confidence seems to be coming back, and I want to say that was the confidence just seems to kind of be actually just going more forward. The Goats' confidence are the ones that's getting a little bit more shot, because you've seen that the smoke came down from Chaza, and as soon as it did, that was Kexu's complete time just to throw the curveball, and the flash was perfect, the swing was excellent, and yet again, we might see it again. Flash is there, swing is good, dodges the rifle and manages to get this space controlled, and yet again, seeming pretty comfortable to push in. We've got the run it back, all coming in. Kexu trying his best, the oil drone, the updraft from Rascal. So much is being used, but it's actually the Goats to survive, to weather the storm, and push the Puffins out.
Yeah, they're completely rotating away, and an Neural Theft from Kubfu is going to be giving all this information. Look at Chaza's position in mid. He's on top of the arch, but Kexu taking down Narkipu. That's the signal now for Puffins to maybe think about exploring towards that B site. And Neural Theft comes on in, and that forces Chaza away from that very cheeky position. A free A site here for the Puffins. They'll be able to get the spike planted, unless they get beaten to the punch here. Saga, nearly catches Lendoff. There's an entire separate fight happening here between the lurkers on B. Meanwhile, Kexu deals with Chaza on the A site. It's just down to Kubfu now, 1 versus 4. This one, you'd think, is impossible. And Kexu makes it so. 10-7, and suddenly Puffins, there's momentum gathering here. The train is picking up steam, and perhaps Icebox could be the next stop.
I am, like, Charlotte, I want to tell you, and I want to tell the audience to brace themselves, because if this is Ascent, this level of kind of scrappiness, this fast pace, and we go to Icebox, be in for this train is going off the rails. Once it stops at Icebox, there is no further destination charted other than the end of the series,
Chaos.
and it doesn't seem like there's any sort of safety regulations to get us there on that track.
Yeah, no, it's final destination, complete chaos. Nakipu, it's a nice try. Lendoff, that's a brilliant attempt there. 1 kill with the Sheriff to try and stave off the approach, but it unfortunately just doesn't work out. Too many players, too much space into the control of the Puffins attack. 4 versus 3, Spike goes down. Goats, it's another tricky situation for them. That paranoia could be huge though.
The oil drone comes up. The flash actually just stopped, but Alfie super
What?
aggression manages
He got
to pick
one?
it up as well. The flash
No.
protects you. It doesn't find, but Saga has been underneath. He's in hell.
Whoa!
The demon comes up from hell, takes over heaven on his own terms. Saga has lived to tell the tale. Wasn't even dead yet if the frag didn't go their way. Phenomenal setup, phenomenal explosion, and it puts the Puffins only 2 rounds away from going to Icebox.
This is ridiculous. I don't know what to say, Maddante. I mean, look at this. Alfie still gets 1. Kex Yu, he's got the flash, dealt with from long range by Kubfu, and then this 1 versus 2 from Saga. I mean, what is there to say? This is just complete chaos, and we're going in again. Immediately, the A main fight is coming on in. Run it back comes through, very swiftly dealt with. But even still, that's gotten them the space, the fear of the trade, they're scared of the retribution. And Puffins have this site now under their control. And popping up again, Saga trying to do the same thing twice, make a second miracle happen. The ultimate, well, it's good for 1. He's been able to stay alive in the first 40 seconds. Saga's alone here on the site. Chewy now finally coming up to greet him. It's a 2 versus 2.
Oh, the drop has been heard almost certainly. The spike's still not down yet. That's why you can see both members of Goats were looking up at heaven for quite some time. The smoke drops, and Saga is the one to follow it. Chewy with an operator, 45 seconds left. 2 members of the Goats to worry about. He tries to get a cheeky shot, just tries to survive the sonar as much as possible. The Cypher cage falls, but there's 2 ensnared in that trap, and it turns out they bite back. They pick up the operator as well and put a round on the board in quite some time, I gotta say. It's been 3 rounds before
It's a mirror of the first half. It's been a complete mirror of this first half.
Oh yeah, so has. Oh my god.
Back in the second.
Holy moly, yeah. Good spot.
I mean,
oh my god, that's scary. Okay.
Overtime is happening, everyone. Prepare yourselves for OT. Listen, I just like, okay. It wasn't a 1v2 again for the Puffins, but again, they have been showing some signs of weakness. Obviously, required Saga back in round number 17 to get the 1 versus 2. Alfie lads also somehow whiffing that shot and just can't escape in time. Dashes into the pillar and gets dealt with. Meanwhile, Narkiplu dealing with the attack here on A main, but a wide pop-in swing there from Chewy gets the job done. Advantage Puffins. Lendoth is the next to stand in the way. He's got the spot onto Zeta. Might be able to get the kill and does. 3 versus 3. Post-plant situation though. Lendoth is inside a hell. He might get swung upon here from main. This is his teammate Smokes helping him out here, and Chewy now lands that shot. Kubfu though answering back, and Chaza. His smoke did so much, and so did his rifle. It's now a 1 versus 2. Yet again, and if history's to repeat itself, Kex Yu finds this clutch.
Not ready yet.
The one way from the Clove, not dead yet. I mean, they are very much, of course, out, but the time's ticking away. Kubfu's holding this angle. The wide swing from Kex is enough.
No way.
Gets one. He gets 1. The classic, though, is not enough, and the timer, I believe, gonna benefit the Goats.
20.
Just barely.
Well, we've seen a departure from history now. We're writing a completely different story here in the second half. And suddenly, it's anyone's game. And with 2 rounds in a row, I'm starting to panic again. Because the Goats are very capable of just running with the smallest amount of momentum. And now they've been given this opportunity to string 2 rounds together. I mean, hey, Puffins don't even have 12 yet, let alone 13. They could still lose this in regulation.
There's no promise of overtime yet, and if there's one thing that goats are able to do, it's climb mountains. And what looked to be a mountain is now suddenly being ascended step by step. The aggression from both sides, you can see they're wanting to force a play. They're wanting to force mistakes out of each other now. They're wanting to very much play in their own terms, and you can see that double setup here from Nargi. You can see the sonar dart is enough for Kexu to just force the fight anyway. Nargi tries to swing off but falls land off with the Odin.
What?
Too disrespectful, gets traded out, but might have been enough off the back of Chaza, who in fact finds another 2. And meanwhile, towards the B site, the market is, well, it's open for business, but there's no one there.
Yeah, lights are on, no one's home, and Chewy's left in a very difficult spot. What do you do here? 50 seconds. Potentially time, yeah, he's looking to save the rifle. Vandal in his hand, but I mean, Chaza is fairly close by. And if there's anything I back Chaza to do, it's win a gunfight. Let's face it, this is
30 seconds left.
This has been an incredible display, really, from both teams. But again, Goats, they get another round here, they build things up, and I have to say, I do feel sorry for ZGL, Zach, our observer.
Yeah.
I feel bad because like this game has been complete chaos. It's impossible for anyone to follow what's going on. And even if he was superhuman, I don't think he'd be able to do it. But been doing a sterling job so far, perhaps the best that it's possible to do with the chaos that we've been seeing.
I don't want to jinx it, but he might have to do it again. That's the biggest thing. If this goes 2 more rounds for the side of Puffins, he has to do it again. But I did say that this very much gave me the vibes, and I was actually that has cut me off perfectly. The timeout here chosen, I believe, at an excellent time with 3 rounds back to back. I did say that this was going to be very much neither team wanted to go to Icebox, and the Goats particularly are really giving me that impression right now with this comeback, with this really just clutching through, just trying to grab anything they can do to make these pushes happen, to make these round starts in their favor. The Puffins initially were meeting that particularly well. They are starting to fall off of it a teeny bit, I have to say.
And like you're saying, you know, they definitely won't want to get to Icebox. Goats, because we've seen when they were the ones, and even in this map, when they are the ones to be the architects of the chaos, they're doing incredibly well. But as soon as it's coming back the other way, where Puffins are the ones that are in command and control and setting the pace, we've seen them struggle quite a bit. And Icebox, like you said, it's going to be even more chaotic probably than this ascent has been. And you know, we've seen some cracks start to show here for the Goats. Puffins very well could exploit that. Should we get to that decider map? You've still got to win 2 here, and well, the Goats, they are hot on their tails.
I mean, that's the thing. You've got Run It Back, you've got the Hunter's Fury for the Puffins, but they've got, I was going to say they've got the Dimensional Drift. They also have the man advantage, the Outlaw there finding its mark. There's already Narki is super aggressive up that mid. He's actually replicating what we've seen the Puffins do on defense. He's not concerned about this mid at all. Zeta is about to remind him why he should be as the sonar dart comes through, and the shorty is out. The timing, but Alfie is the one to back him up, and it looked all over, but Alfie keeps his teammate in this.
Yeah, and Kexu is now struggling. At least Chewy finds one. That's the Jet dealt with, but again, as quickly as that happens, there's a trade on back, and Kexu has got to clutch this one out. Now, granted, this was a save round. There was an eco coming through from Puffins. That timeout is definitely for the next, because we head into this. It's 11-11 that will be coming out, and Goats are very possible to win there. It's about equally as possible that we go to OT, and as equally as possible that the Puffins end up winning things out. Flash to try and deter, but you get the feeling that it's only going to delay the inevitable. Kexu, the net on him is tightening. He's getting surrounded. The sharks smell blood in the water. And Kubfu is the one to deliver the final blow. Round 22 goes by the wayside, and we're tied up again. We're going to go the distance here, no matter what. All 24 of this regulation time, and a very real possibility of going to even more past that.
I want to say, for the Puffins, this is do or die. I don't think once overtime kind of hits that they'll have enough to work with, that they'll be able to kind of force enough space the way they've been playing it. Especially if they're able to get that first frag, that is absolutely massive for them. A bit of an overcommit from Chaz, especially that he didn't have anyone really to back him up. And you can see this time the Puffins do not want to over-aggress. They want that frag. Why 3 outside B holding? Because you have done so many different aggressive plays, but the Puffins have made that read correctly, and you can see they are not moving an inch unless they can get a mile.
Yeah, playing this really nice and smart, playing things safe. But with that Aldrone, Lendoff will have the information that there's still plenty of players outside of B lobby. The neural theft, though, it's going to perhaps put a bit of a spanner in the works. Instead, they're going in for this. Kexu, with the run it back, is clearing up all this space, shuts the door as well, now running on through. He's got the spot. Lendoff is in backside, down in Boathouse. He gets one, but dealt with. Alfilad now retaking in from CT, and Kupfu anchoring on the site. He does it again! A triple kill! And Goats are now just one round away from taking the series and denying that map 3.
I mean,
There
is not much in the way that you can ask for a better re-swing. Alfilad's timing from... Obviously, he had his back towards that B main. If anyone from the Puffins was just lurking that extra bit longer, he would have been gunned down, and that would have been completely differently. Kupfu may not have had the space, the position to work with. We can see the aggressive hold. They want to take this fight on tiles. They want to end this now, but there's no one towards it. It's a B, it's an A main. Full push of the Hunter's Fury as everything that they can throw into it is being chucked for what could be the last round.
Yeah, Rascal has the Bladestorm, has the Bucky as well to try and clear these positions out. And there's a plant coming through from Saga, so at the very least, that's something for the Puffins. It forces Goats to be the ones to go forwards, but they're not going to mind that one bit. And Chaza is there with the kill. Zeta falling, but Rascal, it's like whack-a-mole, pops up, but this time it's the Moles doing the damage. Gets the first, gets the second as well with the Bladestorm. Now Chewy's got a judge, and he's making it sing. 3 versus 2, Kupfu again fighting, but now he's been shut down. Chaza's got a clutch. He's done this before. But now it's a stave off OT. His team won 6 in a row. And Chewy now sitting in the smoke. It's going to be Kexu to send us the distance. Overtime here on Ascent. We're going to get at least 2 more rounds here on this map.
OT, OT, OT. Look at the score lines. Look at the kill feed in front of you as well. We're seeing like 14 and 20 from Chazza with 13 assists. The positioning has been solid. Meanwhile, back that up, Saga has been doing 8 assists. The positive KD on Clove is not necessarily the easiest thing to get. The not dead yet sometimes doesn't work out for you, so you can see the performances from everyone here. The Odin from Chewy.
Kupfu's on 30.
Kupfu's on 30, and that's your Cypher, man.
Yeah.
That's your Cypher.
Sentinel players rise up. What can I say?
True.
But on the other side, top players on 20. Now make it 31 for Kupfu, continuing that reign of terror. But again, 2 even halves for both of these sides, and no one really has an advantage here. The opening pick going the way of the Goats, but as we have seen in and throughout this map, anything can happen when we get towards the end of these rounds. Spy cam onto the clone is maybe not the best of situations for Chewy. And Goats have the A site here.
That's an Odin though. That may not be the best thing for Goats, depending the flash. About to come out, all the utility in the world. The mollies, the shorty from Saga finds its target, but it's red, it's green. The trades are all there back and forth. Kexu, the last man standing in this 2 versus 1, swings out, sees Chaz against the headshot, but can't quite land the follow-up, and would have had to deal with the raid boss even if he walked away from that fight. Rain pours onto the A site, and Rain could very much be pouring onto Puffin's dreams of Icebox.
Yeah, and I think it's very rare that people are dreaming of Icebox unless it's a nightmare. And it very well could still be a nightmare if we get there, but now the GOATs, again, they're the ones with the map point. Surely they don't let it slip a second time, right?
Surely. You can't predict. I think we both agreed, you know, at the start, or kind of halfway through, that you couldn't really predict the way this set was going anymore, and I think this is a follow-up of a Kex. The flash is getting towards, but Nargi can't quite get it. Instead, it's all green, and it's Chazif backing him up yet again. Oh, the follow-up plays have been so sick, and they continue to be so.
They absolutely do, but Narkipu has been dealt with. Lendoff is the player to find the fight and the kill. There's still a second on the site here. It's all down to Rascal. And well, Rascal, he won't be for much longer. Taking down the GOATs. It took grit, it took determination. But they get it done. Goodness me, Maddante. 14-12 on that map. A very different game than what we saw in Haven, but it's the same result. A GOATs win. Lost Puppies, they're through to the final, baby. They're going.
I mean, yeah, seriously, to go from 13-3 to 14-12 with as even halves as you can physically get.
Exactly 50-50 even now.
that actually, in my opinion, that shows. I think if Icebox had been the first pick, we probably would have seen all 3 maps. If you just take Haven and put it on the end and just swap its position with Icebox, I could genuinely see that going the entire distance, just because it seemed that Haven, it was a bit of an outclass. Ascent, though, as even as you could physically get until the end.
Yeah, and for sure, it seemed like Puffins really did thrive in the chaos that they were able to create, and we talk a lot about how Icebox is a very scrappy map, but, you know, how about we just don't talk about Icebox anymore? It's not happening, at least not today. Perhaps next week we could see it in the grand final, but when we talk about Puffins, right, because, yeah, that first game was a little bit rough. There were still plenty of positives to take from this match, Maddante.
There was millions. There was more than you could genuinely talk about in terms of. I know. Obviously, we said, you know, don't speak about Haven. That does just need a bit of a complete look at, a complete revisionism, a complete kind of look back and see the positions, the aggression, how it was working out. Because while there were glimpses, it was all GOATs' show, and that's very much clear. Ascent, though, that's where you've seen that once the executes were figured out, once the positioning were set, they could fight, they could play the angles, they knew who was aiming where. The only mistake that I could see the Puffins made was that, I believe, penultimate round before we went to OT, where Alfie Lad just swung out and had his back towards B main, got a double kill. Yeah, sure, okay, you play a bit more patiently, you might be able to get Alfie Lad, but that's one of those. You only really know that when you see the map. You only know that when you know where everyone's sitting to kind of play that counterplay. Of course, during the set, it is very different. That's the only real feedback I can say for that. Other than that, solid executes, fantastic aim, very cheeky sets, and very kind of ridiculous setups, whether it is gate crash, whether it was just wacky dashes. A lot of stuff to keep both sides on their toes.
Yeah, absolutely. It was. I mean, I think you can probably tell it was a very entertaining series. Everyone at home, I hope you were entertained. We certainly were loving things on the other side. I'm just going to quickly ask whether we have any sort of update at all about the Wolfhounds Pit Ponies game. No updates yet, so we don't know who their opponents are going to be in the final. My guess is probably that it's going to be Wolfhounds, but, you know.
That's going to be a hype. Either way, it's going to be a hype finals, because if Ponies can beat Wolfhounds, we've been looking at Wolfhounds as very much, you know, very much the kind of team to beat. We hadn't obviously seen what the GOATs were able to do until they're now I think it's pretty honest to say that GOAT are the team to beat. And one final thing, I guess, just in terms of the stats before we kind of close that off. So again, First Bloods, and these are always super important. So if my math is correct, it should hopefully be, there were 14 for the side of GOATs, and there were then 12 for the side of the Puffins. So that is much more indicative of how you want Ascent to go. You get your First Blood, you capitalize off of that, and both teams were doing it flawlessly.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at the numbers, you go, oh, the team that won 12 rounds got 12 first picks. The team that won 14 rounds got 14 first picks. Probably there are a couple of switcheroos in there.
Yep.
But in general, like you said, that's how you want these maps to be played. That's how you kind of expect these maps to be played. And again, somehow throughout all of the chaos, we found order again. We very much got the entropy of that match where you come out the other side and you're like, well, hang on a minute. Suddenly all of the numbers add up and make sense. And when you're actually in the game, it was just no way of predicting what the outcome of any of these rounds would be.
There was just a lot of super aggressive setups, super defensive setups, super aggressive defensive setups that involved the opponent's team, super aggressive defensive conga lines that were, congratulations, within the first 20 seconds, I am in your spawn, you are in my spawn. There was probably the most back and forth. I don't think I've ever seen two teams that clearly are fighting over the same brain cell. And I mean that with love.
Yeah.
I mean that with love, but very much it seemed that both of them had the same idea.
They were reading from the same book.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. Like 100%. They were very much matching each other, almost to a uncanny level, but damn was it fun to watch.
Yeah, there were so many times you're like, well, hang on a minute. The attack now look like the defense, and the defense now look like the attack. And normally that only happens when the spike's been planted. We're talking the first 20 seconds into the round.
Yeah.
These teams are still in main, and it's like, well, they just look like they've completely swapped sides. Very, very odd, very, very bizarre, but one hell of a game to watch, Maddante.
Yeah, it really was. And well, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we're probably not going to have the update on time, so just keep an eye on the socials and such for the outcome of the Wolfhounds versus the Ponies. And then, ladies and gentlemen, whenever we are back next week, we are back with what could be the wackiest set of the entire series. The finale of Well always does something incredible that no other Well has ever had happen before. I'm so excited to see what this season's is. Yeah,
no, I absolutely can't wait. But remember, that's all to come next week, 7 p.m. You don't want to miss it. We have had Kashi on the production. We've had ZJL on the observing. I've been Charlotte. I've been joined by Maddante, who, again, it's been absolutely lovely to cast with you. There's Rainbow Six coming up tomorrow, same time, same place. And again, next week, it's time for the grand final. Everything comes down to this. Make sure you tune in. Goodbye.
See you there.